Okay, so we're on to part 2 of the long-tailed tip. As you can see, I've got most of the body done, and we're just onto this slightly more tricky back section. So just going to come out with ways of making it easier, breaking it down so you can see the best way to go about it. So if we look at the picture itself, just blow it up a bit so you can see. So you can see this white bit actually runs right the way across here. So the easiest thing to do is to cut all this white bit out first and then stick these additional bits on the top. So I have just outlined it with my pencil, so hopefully you can see a little bit better. Let me bring it down so you can really see. So the white bit stretches all the way round here, all the way, let me look at my picture, all the way to there. So right round there, all round here to that spot there. So I'm going to do that all in one piece. But I'm also going to draw on the additional bits so that I can cut them out as well. So it was to there. So just no, it wasn't. This is a different bit. But don't worry, we can draw that on. It was to there. That's where I wanted. So it's that bit. And I'm going to just quickly go around here because this is just going to fit behind what we've already got. And then we draw right. And then I am going to draw these bits on that I've got to cut out as well in a different colour, because once I've cut the white out I can then cut them out and I haven't got to lift it up again. Right, so that goes all the way to there. So that is the pattern I've got to cut out. So I'm just going to bring the size down on my paper. Now, because this is a bit of a trickier pattern, piece to cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, my white. See, it's got a little pattern in it. I'm going to peel the backing off my fusible. I'm going to turn this over and I'm just going to stick it to the back of my piece of fabric, trying not to waste too much. So with the Bonder Web Wonder Under, you just use a little bit of heat, nothing much, and then it just makes it that much easier to cut out because you're not trying to hold on to a piece of paper and a piece of fabric and it moving about. Just need to look, see what's, I think it's just straight across there. We'll find out. And I'm going to cut straight across here, get rid of that, and then I'm just going to do sharp little cuts, these little straight line cuts. Get rid of these little bits, That's why I design these patterns with mostly straight sharp edges, because it's much easier to cut these than curvy lines. Especially with a good sharp pair of scissors. I use the Friskers Easy Grips. My job is actually as a dog groomer, so I'm using scissors all day long. So it's quite nice not to have to use my fingers with these. I think that's it. So just check. It's going to go right behind there. Yep. Right. Just clear these bits off. Peel this back. And we're going to slot it in behind all of this, so just gently pull that up. Get it in the right place. Looks about right. Yep. And then I can just put some heat on it to adhere it to the pieces underneath. Now we've got this bit that we cut out, so we can now cut these additional bits out. And let's find, that was what I was going to use. I actually missed a bit of cutting there, didn't I? Doesn't matter, I really don't think it matters. Didn't cut this bit out here, but I really don't think it's that big a deal. That's the thing with the patterns, is it's not, if you miss a bit, it's not really the end. There's a few areas where it's going to make quite a big difference. So if you're cutting like eyes and things like that, it will make a difference if you don't stick entirely to the pattern. But most of it, as long as you're not doing it all of the time, because that would be a completely different pattern. But occasionally, in small bits, be fine. Right, so that goes under here somewhere, doesn't it? Just get it lined up. Just want a slight more curve on that. It's better. So just like that. Okay. And I'm going to use the same fabric to cut the other bit out. See, I managed to move that a bit, so we're not going to lose a little bit. Okay, be fine. Right, slight. I think what I'd like to try and do is just see if I can lift that edge. I shouldn't really have stuck it down. It's a bit daft. Oh, there we go. A bit of heat, just often we'll raise it back up again. There we go, and that slots in better. Right, so then we've got these this bit here, and then these two long pieces here. So let me just draw them in so you can see them a bit better. That comes down like that. Actually, on the pattern they're actually separate, but I'm going to put them together because I just think it's going to be easier. Just going to add them in the middle together. This is probably the hardest bit on the whole pattern. And I'm going to draw this bit in as well because that's the same colour. And I'm going to do the same with this because it is a bit tricky. I'm going to use this fabric, which is a lining fabric for a jacket or a coat, but it makes it nice and thin and very pliable and easy to work with. So upside down again. A little bit of heat, just enough to stick it down. There we go. Peel off the parchment paper, trying not to rip the fabric because it's quite a delicate piece. Pull too hard and it will just pull apart. There we go. What I think I might do is not actually stick that down just yet. I think I'm going to put the back piece in first to Just check it's all right. I think it, the other way. Actually no, I don't need to, because I can stick it to the back of this white here, so it will come up all together with the white piece, so that's ideal. Get it, move it so I've got it where I want it to be. And then I've just got the other piece still to cut out. So there's only a very slight gap between those two. That's perfect. So we'll put this tail in here. Which stops about there, actually. Looking at the colour version. That's a blacky area. So I don't want anything as dark as that piece that I used on those. So let me just find another piece. Browns are so difficult to find, but that will work perfectly. Actually, I thought I found another bit. It doesn't matter, that's fine. So that's not difficult to cut out. Just put it around the way that it's going to use the least amount of fabric. Right, so these just need to be gently pulled up. It's going over the top of that black bit. Find the line of it. and I can stick it at the top. So that's now adhered, so it makes it a little bit easier to work with. These are quite gentle little pieces. There we go. Right, now, it's not quite right because I don't want that showing through under there. So I'm just going to trim it back a little tiny bit if I can. I can afford to trim a bit off all the way up. That's better. There we go. Just go back to this bit in the middle. We're just going to use this again. Perfect. Okay, so slightly darker. It's the same fabric that I've used here. So pull this up. Just wondering if I can go over the top of that bit because it's not got the greatest line there. It's a little bit frayed on that edge, so it would be quite nice to. But I need to pull it up here, go under this bit. Tuck it down. Just going to snip them barest smidgen off of this, just so it's looks like it's going downwards. That's better. Right, and I need a different colour. Perhaps I could use this again that I used over his eyebrow. That might be quite nice, just to reinforce that colour. I can see I don't need to cut. Don't need much precision work from that. Just cut a bit off. This is almost the right shape. Pop it in. There we go. And I just need a little tad of that colour. So that's the same as that. I like to make sure that I use the fabric in more than one spot if possible, just to tie it all up together. So this, you can see this is all well stuck together now, so I can just use it, pull it all up in one go, flop a bit behind, and then I'm going to use this fabric here just to finish that bit in there and over the top there. Well, I say now, I'm probably use that colour in there, I think. Or should I do the opposite? No, that there, that there, that there, that there, and that there. No, that way round. Right. I hope you like watching me think things out. I don't need to do too much to that. I can just cut a bit off. Stick it in behind. When you do that, when you just cut a bit off and stick it more behind, it just reinforces the whole thing because it's a slightly bigger piece than the normal overlap, so it just gives it a little bit more strength actually. It's not a bad thing to do. Even if it is the lazy way of doing it. There we go. I'm going to put that on the top because quite, or am I? No, that looks better. So it's a good idea to check which way round it looks best actually. People always ask which way you layer things, and actually usually it's whatever looks best. So I'm going to put one more piece along the back there, and then that tail, which is by far the hardest bit on the whole project, is all done. It's taken us half an hour, and that's with me spouting nonsense at you. Just wondering whether to use that or whether to use it that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the actual pattern to see what comes up from it. So I think actually that would be better being the piece that comes up here. So I am going to use that because that will work well against that. Just you need to just plan ahead a little bit sometimes. That's the thing with your colour choices. So I'm just going to cut this. Thank you very much, aircraft. Just going to cut that bottom piece off, and then I'm not going to bother to cut the rest of it off because it will just add, as I was saying, it will just add to the strength of the whole piece. It's too small a bit to use again. And there we go. So you can see that that's got that done remarkably quickly. The trickiest part all done. I shall carry on, move on, finish off the tail. I'll probably get the rest of it finished, and then we'll come back and do the old dreaded sewing bit, because I know how much you love watching me struggle with a sewing machine. So that's it for today. See you again soon.